Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Mitchell with FF Real Talk, and we're about to get right into the Week 6 ads. And this is probably going to be an abridged version because I don't have a lot of time today. Kind of got a lot of things going on, so I'm just going to kind of run through this. And we're going to start with the number one pickup of the week, and I think it's pretty much consensus, pretty much, and that will be Sammie Coates. I watched this game in full, and I immediately tweeted out when he got that first long touchdown. I said, Martavis who? I mean, this guy is no joke. He took the top off the defense all day long. And what's crazy is he was dropping a couple of passes because he's got some laceration on his hand or something. And he got 11 targets, which is the biggest number. The wide receiver 2 spot in Pittsburgh, if anybody's paid attention for years now, back when Antonio Brown was 2 behind Mike Wallace and Manuel was 2 behind Antonio Brown, the number 2 spot is valuable if it's being used. Marcus Wheaton didn't want to take it. It looks like Sammy Coates came in and stole the show. It's going to be hard for Martavis to get some run with the way he's playing, with the way Coates is playing if he does come back. So this is a guy that you're going to want to have, and it's looking like a guy that's going to be a roster stalwart for the rest of the season going forward. So if you can get him, go ahead, because this will be the last week for your chances. Number 2, another guy who should be pretty much heavily owned after this week, Cameron Meredith. The potential is endless with this guy, and it's because of the concerns of injury with Alshon Jeffrey. He's always on the injury report. And with Kevin White going down, his spot is sewn up as long as Hoyer's playing. And though he's unspectacular, we know Hoyer, he's dependable. And he's gonna make the best of using Cameron Meredith. It looks like they've got a great connection. He went 9 for 130, on 12 targets. There's nothing much need to be said. That's somebody you want to grab. Number 3, Jacquizz Rodgers. Do y'all remember this guy? This was the Devontae Freeman before Devontae Freeman. And with Charles Sims going down on the IR, his possibilities are pretty solid, depending on if Doug Martin comes back after this bye week here. Now, this is one of those situations where you have to take the way you do things, because there's a lot of fantasy people or players that play that do not like to add a player when they're about to head into a bye week, knowing they can't get any fantasy goodness off of them immediately. But to me, that's the perfect time to grab because no one's paying attention. Now, his value is capped based on Doug Martin. But because he also catches, he's going to be able to gobble up what Charles Sims couldn't do. And you saw what he did on the ground. They gave him 30 carries for 101 yards, plus 5 catches. So depending on how Doug Martin looks, Jacquizz Rodgers has a nice role carved out for himself. Number 4 is another pass catching running back, and he's going to be highly used in the Brady offense. That's James White. Last year, he was one of the leading pass catchers among running backs, and this year with Brady back, all the drafting, I was taking him late rounds of numerous leagues that I'm in, and it was all because of week 5 going forward. He didn't do too much this week, but I promise you it's going to get more. And what did he have this week? 4 for 63 on 6 targets. That number is going to increase because he's someone that's very dependable in the pass game besides the wideouts, because Brady's sort of like, no, I won't say he's like Drew Brees in that he spreads it out a lot, but the running back, pure runner, value goes down. That's why LeGarrette Blount's stock is now going down while White's is going up. He's heavily available out there, so try to grab him if you can. Another Patriot is the number 5 pickup, and that's Chris Hogan. Looks like we finally have a clear-cut number 2 receiver behind Edelman, and I've never been the biggest fan of Edelman, so you never know. He might supplant him the way Edelman's just pretty much slot guy. But when he had 114 yards on 5 targets, that's a nice offering. And with the way the Pats run up the scoreboard, this is going to be something that's going to continue. Again, just like with James White, they're both going to have value, especially once Gronk gets going and starts getting a lot of the attention. Chris Hogan is definitely someone you want to pick up also. Number 6, Quincy Enunwa. He could be higher in this list for a lot of people. This list so far is just kind of like pick your poison, but he's still under 60% owned. And after he had this mediocre showing this past week, a lot of people are going to be off of him. This is the time where you want to get on a guy like that. His value is here to stay. Eric Decker's gone for the duration of I don't know how long. He's going to be out a while. And in an offense that has to pass, even though it can be sketchy with Fitzpatrick, that's going to be value, and you've seen it in Enunwa's targets. He's one of the leaders in the league among targets, and Brandon Marshall gets a lot of attention. So he's going to continue to eat off of this. So that's somebody you want to have. Next is Brian Hoyer, and this is the amazing thing about it. With all the negative things you can say about Brian Hoyer, all the ways you can complain and clown him, since week 3 in Dallas, he's thrown for more than 300 yards each week and has only had 1 interception. That ain't going to last because he's known for having one of them big pick games where he throws them all game. But this is a perfect spot starter type guy that can be matchup based and a perfect bye week fill-in. This is and also he's definitely going to be a heavily owned DFS cheap target this week. So you can count on his dependability, and you can also count on he's going to have that 100 interception to 1 touchdown game. But with these bye week crunch coming in, this is a guy you want to have. Next is Dak Prescott. Dak has been one of the better quarterbacks in the league in real life. His fantasy numbers are fair to middling and just steady, but he's been very good. And I'm really having a hard time believing how Jerry Jones is going to pull him when Tony Romo forces his way back in, because he's going to try to come in before he's ready because he sees that Dak is going off. I don't know how Jerry's going to pull him off the field. But regardless, he's proven to be a solid passer, and he's got great rushing ability, which is fantasy bonus for anybody who knows how the quarterback position is. Like Hoyer, above, he's a great target for bye week fill-in, and he's getting to the point to where he'll be more than 70% owned going forward if he keeps this up. Number 9 is Tavon Austin. This is a surprise to me. Through 6 weeks, he's tied for 8th most in targets in the league with 46. And he's caught 23 of them. Why is he on the bench in 44% of leagues? His yards. Among those top 8 top 8 in targets, he's the only one with less than 300 yards on the season. I don't know what it is about him. He's just basically a dangerous threat for making a big, huge play that can blow your week up, or doing nothing and blow your week down. But again, when you're getting that many targets, you should be an owned player. So this is another situation where, just like a lot of the players on here now again, Sammy Coates and Cameron Meredith, those are guys you want to have bye week or not. But this is a guy that you want to fill in case you've got that stretch where you don't have wide receivers that you need. And the last pick of the day is James Starks. Lacey sustained some type of ankle injury, and he's questionable at best going into the next game. Starks hasn't looked good with any of the usage he has had this year, including this past weekend. He didn't look very good. But when he's doing right, he can be one of the more dependable backups in the business. So, he's also facing Dallas this week, who's a defense that isn't that great against the run. But if Lacey is out for any determinate amount of time, it's going to be noteworthy. he's someone you definitely will want to have. A starting running back has value in the NFL and has value in fantasy. Always remember that. So yeah, but that's the top 10 list here, and that one was right at 10 minutes. So I hope y'all have good luck in week 6 and enjoy the rest of the fantasy season. But I'll be seeing you. All right, have a good one.